She never told me the real story of how Jim Jones recorded his fiery eyes and piercing voice live that night. This isn't a hip-hop or love moment. What exactly transpired between Chrissy and Elin? Sincere millions of people have watched it on Stream Life, and the treachery has detonated in front of the entire internet. And Camron, and why does Jim Jones bring up that night at this time after years of silence? Jim Jones believed that betrayal was more than just romantic, was both political and personal, possibly on purpose. This is where things get complicated, though, because Jim's own son seems to be endorsing the claim that he overheard minutes after Jim's podcast. He mumbled about Chrissy Ellen and Camron when he was a kid. What type of mature woman's problem gets that serious? If you listen closely, the anonymous voicemail that went viral sounds a lot like Camron. This isn't just drama. It's a full-scale scandal including receipts, betrayal, and a body count of betrayed trust. And trust me, this is just the beginning that has occurred in the field of hip-hop drama. And this is a new, unpleasant, and nearly flammable dispute rather than a rehashed argument or an old story you've heard 100 times, which attracts decades-old secrets and shattered relationships, making even casual fans stop and wonder how it all started when Jim Jones, the Jim Jones, totally lost it while doing a live podcast. Not an edited YouTube video, but an uncut live broadcast to thousands of eager fans. Jim Jones screamed, his voice trembling, "I can't forgive her for lying to me after that night with Camron." It was just normal conversation, not this full-blown tantrum. Jim Jones claims that if you believed Chrissy Elin and Camron's "if you believed the past was just tabloid rumors, you should reconsider." This evening was a turning point because it wasn't just about the cheating scandal. "You had to restart the tape a few years ago to understand why Jim Jones is so upset," Chrissy remarked. There has always been controversy around Lannon's combative attitude towards love and hip-hop, but add Camron, the renowned Harlem rapper with his intriguing past combined with his pink polo shirts is a surefire way to fuel rumors of catastrophe over Chrissy Elkin and Camron's relationship has been rumored for years, but they were able to keep a secret under wraps. Insiders and fans have long questioned why Jim Jones was constantly in the. According to people close to the Deep Group, Jim Jones remained silent because the issue was never officially addressed by Spotlight until today. And it's not just any. Betrayal went farther than anybody anticipated, affecting Camron's close friends and family as well as business dealings. The worst part is that Jim's own child was unexpectedly. Jim Jones allegedly overheard a chat about the son's involvement in the dispute, according to an anonymous source we obtained. Jim's son testified that Chrissy's relationship with Camron was a part of a larger betrayal that destroyed the entire family. Contacted Chrissy Lean in private and demanded answers. Her manner was very cold. She avoided the kind of silence that suggests you know exactly what you did. Shortly after Jim's podcast breakdown, an enigmatic voicemail surfaced online. The voice on the audio is unknown, as if the story wasn't already explosive enough, but sounded strikingly similar to Camron's cool-headedness and mystique, as the note suggested concealing secrets and violating promises. It concluded with awful sentence, "Some things were never meant to be true, but the truth always finds a way." As a result, this voicemail was passed along, and Dipset fans began taking it turned into a battle between two hip-hop giants, with some admiring Jim's sorrowful rage and others questioning whether Chrissy Ellen was being unfairly dragged. Basically, the Camron night and treachery leaks of Jim Jones versus Chrissy Lampin were making waves around the world, including memes, response videos, and fan predictions varied, conspiracy theories dominated streams, and Jim Jones is going crazy over the most bizarre accusations regarding "don't believe Chrissy Lannon." The kind of viral chaos that only a genuine hip-hop problem can produce was caused by covert deals and opaque backroom intrigues. Hasn't formally responded to the accusations, but her posts on social media have abruptly transformed from lovely pictures to many people questioned why Jim Jones had waited so long to bring this up, and why cryptic statements about devotion and honesty only served to increase, according to current sources. The podcast was intended to be a peaceful conversation about music and life, rather than a spontaneous outburst. After years of animosity, those close to Jim Jones claimed he found out Chrissy Lampin was involved in a new relationship. Dubious behavior, with Camron, though the specifics are still unknown, seemed to be the final straw. The betrayal wasn't merely a strategic emotional move, and like a knife in the back, this disagreement has always been about loyalty and has the potential to destroy not only friendships, but entire lineages. Family and seeing one of your own members yell in public adds an additional element of drama that makes it difficult to distinguish between real life and Jim's. Those who are closely watching find public outrage amusing. Chrissy's quiet is more genuine than Jim's son coming forward adds a whole new dimension to the problem and a spin on Camron's enigmatic message. Who will survive this terrible public betrayal, and what happened that night are still secrets. But if you thought the live wait till you hear the leaked conversations, fresh allegations, and unexpected collaborations that started too soon after Jim Jones. The podcast breakdown was crazy, broke out during that live performance, and once the dust settled on what started out as a personal matter, it quickly evolved into a full-fledged investigation by fans, insiders, and even some questionable people who purportedly had first-row seats to the drama. Here's what we found, and I promise you'll want to hold tight, because this gets more crazy than a reality TV reunion on steroids. It's a late-night party full of business people. When Chrissy Lampin was caught chuckling, one source characterized the backstage rumors as a powder keg tension. Leaders were also served outlandish beverages, and a whole bunch of people whispered, "Something's definitely wrong here," as they were a little too near to Camron. Additionally, there were Tails' private phone conversations that ended abruptly and entered the room, so it wasn't just the typical hip-hop glitz. The SMS messages disappeared before anyone could determine that these exchanges were more than romantic. They also suggested potentially disruptive money transactions. Chrissy Lamin, the Deep Empire, reportedly had a larger role behind the scenes than anyone anticipated, maintaining connections that could compete with some of the largest names in. Keep in mind that power control and who truly has the cards in this intricate game of fame are just as important as personal treachery. Additionally, as the narrative developed, a new layer of money surfaced. Yes, the green stuff. According to sources, Chrissy Elkin has been investigating some Jim Jones thought that some kinds of funding, such ostentatious shopping sprees, secret bank accounts, and even possible exploitation of joint assets, were prohibited. According to someone close to Jim Jones, they were partners in all of their endeavors. But Chrissy Elin has clearly been playing a different game, which is what truly hurts people's feelings, as social media predicted, with fans scrutinizing every movie Instagram post and threatening tweet from both sides. Another reader commented, "Chrissy's silence tells volumes. What's she hiding? Jim's pain is real, but how much of this is smoke and mirrors sharing drips in drama?" Naturally, memes began to circulate, with some gleefully mocking Jim's emotional reaction, and others describing fans responded. But so did business insiders and former colleagues, with Chrissy Lampkin playing strings in the background. Well responded. With cryptic comments regarding unresolved matters and loyalty issues that a few prominent individuals close to Dipset privately voiced. Everyone is in awe of Jim's public revelation of his private affairs and is curious about what will happen next and how far the impact will spread. The rumors are still going strong. Making noise about possible court cases, Jim's team is reportedly recruiting attorneys to look into any contract violations and business misconduct connected to Chrissy's questionable side endeavors, which some fear federal officials would even acquire because of the high profile. This story isn't just fiction. Jim's kid, who is currently performing in the play publicly, has allegedly been threatened by unidentified individuals. Threats, so he should be quiet because internet commotion might make people nervous in real life. Meanwhile, Chrissy's staff has been largely silent but has released a few well-crafted social media posts that don't directly address the allegations but are sufficient to ignite the debate. Such, truth has a strange of coming out, and allegiance is earned rather than granted. This enigmatic letter intensifies. It's like watching a chess game to think that she's getting ready for a major surprise, such as a reveal-all interview or a social media blitz that takes over between Chrissy Elin and Jim Jones, but with little success. One source even claimed that Camron might be holding on to some bombshell information about his own, which might clear Chrissy Elkin or plunge the entire group deeper into disgrace. The layers of emotional and financial damage keep piling up. Online intrigue, family treachery, and economic hardship are all intertwined in a perplexing manner, And just when you believe you've heard it all, new stories surfaced, like the idea that a covert film showing a violent altercation between Chrissy Lampin and Jim Jones will soon leave. Nobody is certain what's on that tape, but if it ever comes to light, it might contain accusations, voices, and truths that are revealed, change. Everything while critics and supporters are divided. Some band together, and Jim Jones calls him an abused monarch before speaking out, while others applaud. Chrissy's bravery in enduring chaos, while the others remain composed and strong while they enjoy popcorn and watch how this drama unfolds. But one thing is certain, this issue won't go away anytime soon. Reputational harm has already been done, and the repercussions will be severe. Hold on tight, for part 3 is where we go. What does this mean for the future of Deep's occupations and relationships that have defined an age, consequences, legal threats, and family issues? You may have assumed this was about jealousy and betrayal, but this is actually about power, legacy, and survival, wrapped up in a single dramatic drama. But don't worry, we're far from finished now that we've exposed the many levels of dishonesty and shady transactions. Jim Jones accused Chrissy Lampin of treachery on a podcast, and now that he has made threats, it's time to face the consequences. In addition to venting, Camron Knight was igniting a chain reaction that, first and foremost, indicated a legal storm was building inside the hip-hop scene. It's worse than anyone anticipated for those close to Jim, and the legal team intends to bring multiple claims for theft, breach of contract, and perhaps Jim's staff thinks that Chrissy's covert negotiations and side strategies were merely commercial dealings rather than personal betrayals. The drama unfolds as Chrissy reacts to her lawyers, who damage your business by pretending to be your own partner and working behind your back, have likely written cease and desist letters to numerous media organizations that began going too far. This is a common power tactic, but it only helps. Social media is a battlefield where followers are picking sides like it's a grizzly, due to the claims that she has a lot to hide and the audience is consuming it. Every minute, contentious discussions. And conspiracy theories about Game of Thrones jokes spread, and one trending hashtag splits people on Twitter. Jim's child, who was already dragged, may have suffered the most devastating outcome, but it seems like a family conflict is ripping the entire crew apart. Is allegedly considering leaving the spotlight, according to sources who think the pressure has been fueled by threats and extortion. Jim Jones and Chrissy Lampkin rarely attend parties, and the weight of familial treachery is greater than any discord could ever be. Don't expect this to remain a secret. It was tough to turn away from the sector insiders, according to those close to the family, because they saw a gradual motion training that was disastrous. Concerned that sponsors and collaborators may be significantly impacted by the Dipset's brand, no one is apparently considering partnerships. Desires to be enmeshed in this vast story, some artists have even separated themselves from it, openly referencing harsh truths and restrictions that shouldn't be crossed. But this is where things get really bad. There are rumors of a federal investigation. So yes, folks, the authorities might investigating financial irregularities, dubious transactions, and suspected money laundering linked to some of Chrissy's purported side projects have clearly brought to their notice. If so, this conflict might go well beyond hip-hop rumors. After Chrissy Ellen broke her, there was a period of silence. She hinted at hidden motives in people who try to pull during a recent Instagram Live. She didn't name them, but everyone knows who she intended for her remarks to be equally defensive and covert, leaving supporters to speculate as to whether she or Camron is preparing a comeback. Putting petrol on the fires while preparing a counterattack, Wildcard sent mixed messages about loyalty. No, Gwen is ready for some facts. I expect him to react soon or perhaps sit down for an open interview that could upset the narrative. And what about Jim, the man in the midst of the storm? I've been keeping quiet, concentrating on new music, and avoiding sporadic posts on social media that seem to be about mourning. One recent tweet stated, "Sometimes the toughest fights are those you fight in quiet." This raises questions about treachery and endurance. For many years, they were the game's heroes and legends, but now the story is enmeshed in controversy, treachery, and upcoming court cases. Fans are left wondering if this is just the start of the end or if it's just a bad chapter in a larger story. Furthermore, as the drama intensifies, new artists and rival organizations are paying close attention. Some see this as a chance to take center stage. There is a lot of conjecture on the streets about who will rise from the ashes. But don't forget that this problem isn't about the larger picture of Jim Chrissy Lampkin, or Camron alone serves as a mirror reflecting the straightforward, frequently hazy fusion of celebrity, authority, and interpersonal relationships in the music industry. What happens when the eye gets too hot to handle? For Jim Jones, Chrissy Lampkin finds a way. Business is about trust and betrayal. To mend ties, or is this the last curtain call? One of the most talked about topics in hip-hop is whether or not legal disputes will destroy what makes the team one. Thing is certain about this, even though there may still be some shocking secrets that are kept under wraps. The story is not yet over, so you should wait for the next chapter. Before you leave, I'd want to know what you think of Jim's, and how you're doing. Regarding the alarming allegations, do you think Chrissy Ellen is innocent, or is she engaging in a master game behind the scenes? Who do you think is really in charge of this? Jim Jones, Chrissy Lampkin, or Camron? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. Don't forget to hit the like button if you're enjoying this drama, and don't forget to subscribe for more exclusive updates on stunning realities. I promise you won't want to miss what comes next. Thank you for watching, and keep it in mind. Family, now that you've heard the terrible, I'd like to know the truth. In the world of celebrity and wealth, reality is often stranger than fiction. Regarding Chrissy Lynn's treason claim and Jim Jones's shocking accusations, do you believe that this is all a lot of theater, or that someone is actually playing the don't? Hold back. This is the place to offer your wildest notions and deeper game straining the ropes. Jim Chrissy Lannon or Camron? Please share in the comments. Site for all dramatists and truth seekers fans. If you're as enamored with this narrative, as I adore the like button to show affection and ensure